Thank you for the host as well, man. You bringing the hype. Bringing the hype. I'm yeah. I'm so there's a bird in my house right now. Like in my room.
And Tin Man's coming in with the multi-stream, so if you guys are interested.
There's a fucking bird in my room. And I can't get the fucking fly back out the goddamn window. What's up, Drunken Gamer? How you doing, man? Fuck. Hello?
Hi.
What's up?
Hey, what's going on?
I have a bird in my room right now.
A bird? Like a wild bird?
Yeah, like a wild bird.
What is a bird doing in your room?
All right, so let me paint the picture. All right, so
we get a story time first.
We get a story time before the story time. So the upstairs where I sleep and do my streaming, right? So there's like a window, a glass window, and then there's like a second like pane of glass behind it that you have to like pull up.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's an old house, so this window doesn't like to stay up. It's very finicky. And so it was up because it's been warmer lately, and these birds like to hang out on the windowsill. And so earlier I hear this like boom, this loud boom. I look back and I'm like, nothing seems wrong, nothing seems crazy. So then I go to open the window because it's hot as balls in here now. I don't know why, but it's hot as balls. And there's just a bird hanging out in between the two panes of glass. So
so it's stuck between the two. Oh, it's
well,
stuck
now
in
it's
the window?
No, now because I didn't notice it at first, and I couldn't very well like just close the window back and be like, well, not my problem, because I would have crushed it. And there it is, flying around.
I can hear it.
Yeah.
I heard the chirp.
Yeah. And so like I've been trying to get it out the window. Like I open the window back up and I'm like, go out, don't be dumb, go out. And it just keeps flying back and forth across the top of the roof.
It's gonna be in there for a while.
The hell it is.
Probably.
Nope. Because as soon as I get done streaming, I want to. You ever seen Great Outdoors? No, you haven't seen Great Outdoors because you don't watch movies. But I'm gonna get a broom and I'm gonna get a tennis racket and I'm going to trap it and get it outside. What am I
Well, Drunken Gamer says that you should name it Bill.
Fill the bill, apparently. Apparently.
Phil, well, Horror Historian says Phil, and Drunken Gamer says Bill. So you have a few choices if it decides to stay.
It's not going to stay because I know what's going to happen. It's going to it's probably going to get eaten by a dog, honestly. I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that'd be bad.
What I need is a cat. And the cat would kill it. But I don't have a cat.
It's unfortunate that you don't own a cat.
I did have a cat. I used to have 2 cats. Actually, that's not true. I used to have 3 cats. But then one of them got out of the house one day and ran off. Wouldn't come back. Hi, bird. Asshole. And then...
Well, are you...
What? Let's do it. I'm ready. I'm sweaty. I'm ready.
Oh, well, I was going to say, are you okay to stream with the bird in your room?
Yeah, it's whatever.
Okay.
I'm hoping he just wises up and goes out the open window.
He'll learn.
Let's see.
He may be a quick learner.
Ain't that quick.
Maybe not.
Ain't that quick. Ain't that quick.
Alright, well, if you're ready...
I'm ready.
We can talk about some Silent Hill. Silent Hill Birds Edition.
That was, you know what? There was birds in the movie. There was birds in the movie. Briefly, but there was birds in the movie.
Were birds in the movie. That's right.
It all comes back. And you know what else? There was birds in Trimmers. There was birds and trimmers, so it all comes
The
back to
one
Kevin Bacon.
consistent link between all the movies we've watched.
Is Kevin Bacon?
Bert. Oh, I was gonna say birds.
No, it's Kevin Bacon. It all comes back to Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, well, probably.
Okay, are we ready?
All right, but Silent Hill, yes.
Let's do it.
So tonight we're reviewing Silent Hill,
Mm-hmm.
the
From
movie,
2006.
not the game. The 2000, which by the way, I was super surprised to see that it came out in 2006.
Why?
I didn't realize that it was that old.
Yeah.
I don't know why, because I thought that it was. How is that possible? Yeah, okay, no, that's right. Okay. Anyway, it's a lot older than I thought it was.
Idiot.
But
Not you. Go on.
so anyway, Silent Hill the movie from 2006. There was a more recent movie, so I think the second Silent Hill movie came out in 2012.
Okay. Maybe.
I believe. So there's quite a bit of time between the two Silent Hill movies. The first one did come out in 2006.
Revelation?
The second
Is that
one
what it
was
is?
Revelations.
Yeah, 2012. Yep.
Yeah. So
And it came out in 3D.
So this movie is. Yeah, it did. So this movie is quite a bit older. And I only say that, well, number one, because I was surprised, and number two, because it kind of affects the movie a little bit. For instance, some of the special effects, and we can go into this later, kind of show their age a little bit. So just keep in mind that this movie was from 2006. So
yep, that's true.
So I guess we want to go ahead and start with our initial review.
Yeah, let's go ahead and start. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to?
Yeah, I'll go first. So I guess I should say this. So when it first came out, I was super excited because obviously I love the games, and when I was younger, I think I remember liking the movie a lot. Regardless of some of the flaws it may have.
Okay.
I just enjoyed seeing Silent Hill in the movie theater. However, I have to say, watching it now, I really wasn't as thrilled with it as I remember being. So I hate to do this, and I feel bad.
Oh man.
Because I like Silent Hill so much.
This is gonna be bad.
But I think that I'm gonna give it a 5.
Oh, that's not that bad. That's average.
It's lower than within our usual score.
I mean, Jingle All the Way got a 5 from you.
Oh wait, did it?
And Home Alone 3 got a 5.7.
Was that was final score?
Yeah.
I think that Jingle All the Way should have gotten a lower score from me. I feel like as we review more movies, my like, I don't know, my bar is different than it was when we first started this.
Okay. That's fair.
So
that's fair.
I would definitely give Jingle All the Way a lower score.
Too late. It's set in stone.
Maybe.
I can't change it.
I don't know.
I can change it.
I'm gonna go with 5 for Silent Hill. That's
5.
my initial
Okay.
score.
Okay. So like you, I was a huge fan of Silent Hill as the game. And so let me preface this by saying two things. One, we can all pretty much unanimously agree that most, if not all, video game movies suck.
Yeah.
And two, I tried to watch this again with using the game as little reference as I could. Trying to use this movie.
It's so hard.
It is hard. I was trying to give it a fair judgment and not like give it a bad score because the game is better. So I've tried to use it as its own art form, its own medium. So let me preface that. That's what we're gonna say.
Okay.
This bird is killing me, man. I want to strangle him. Anyways, uh, I think that Silent Hill there it does some things really well, um, but it also does some things really bad. So I'm going to give it a 6 to start.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Fair. Fair. And I will say, yeah, so it's kind of like um the review we did for Hellraiser,
Hmm.
where it's hard to separate kind of what you know. So in the case of Hellraiser is what I know about Clive Barker and his stories and the way that he tells stories,
Hmm.
and taking Hellraiser as it is, like as a standalone movie. It's kind of the same thing with Silent Hill, right? Because I'm super familiar with all the Silent Hill games.
Hmm.
I know how Silent Hill tells a story. I know, like, I don't know. So it's the same thing. It's hard to separate what I know about Silent Hill and review this kind of as a standalone movie.
Hmm.
So I don't know. It made it difficult.
It is really hard, because the entire thing is, I mean, it's a video game movie, so they try and keep it as accurate as possible to the source material, but they have to take some liberties of their own to make it more compelling as a movie, I guess.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
so like in that sense, it kind of it's understandable, but if you like, I get what you're saying. It's hard to not compare it, but I was just
Mhm.
saying I tried. I tried my best.
I know. Well, but I guess that brings up a question, right? Is a
Okay.
video game movie like for the fans, or is it for a general audience? Because obviously, as a movie for fans, like fans of the game, people who played the game are going to get a lot more out of this movie than someone who's just coming to see a scary movie, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
So I think that in the period where this movie came out and other movies in the same genre, um, they tried to make it more for the fans than to make it a compelling movie, but still make it good, make it a quote unquote good movie is what they hope for.
Yeah.
But you want to keep it as close to the source material as possible, um, because if not, nerds would riot, and that still happens today. But
Right.
we've kind of strayed far away from that. Um, the more recent you go with movies, a good prime example is like the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They
Mhm.
kind of just don't really care about like the comics at all, and that's
Yeah.
fine. Whatever. They're fun movies to watch. My kids love them.
Yeah.
I don't, but my kids do. So,
Mhm.
but I think that in that time period, it was more geared towards the fans, or it tried to be geared towards the fans. And some movies do it all right, and some movies don't. Looking at you, Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah, and so when I guess another question to go along with that question is, like, I'm actually surprised that a Silent Hill movie was even made. And I just say that because even though the games were popular, it I don't think that Silent Hill was really or is really that mainstream. So it was surprising to me that they even made a movie. However, when I think about, like you said, the time period that this movie was created, I believe that it came out around the same time as like The Ring and The Grudge. It was kind of in that like 5 or 6 year period
Mhm.
where there was a lot of where like Japanese horror was becoming really popular, and I wonder if that was almost a reason why this was created to try and like ride the coattails of that like Japanese horror like craze.
Could
So I
be.
don't know.
It could be. Another thing though to think about is that, I mean, what year did Silent Hill come out? Like the game.
2000.
The game.
Oh, the game?
Yeah.
Like the very first Silent Hill?
Yeah.
Um, it came out.
1999.
Yeah,
So 7 years
yeah,
earlier, Silent Hill came out.
yeah,
And when the movie came out, I'm sure we at least had the third game by then.
yeah. Because Silent Hill 2 came out in 2001, and Silent Hill 3 came out in 2003. So yeah,
Okay, so by that point, it might have just been like these games are becoming really popular. Let's cash in while they're still popular. Um,
maybe.
because Silent Hill 1 is great, Silent Hill 2 is great, Silent Hill 3 is good, 4 is
Then there
kind
was
of.
Silent Hill 4, and that came out in 2004.
Silent Hill 4 is kind of
And
bad
that was
though. I'm
bad.
just saying. My opinion, I
Oh
think
yeah, I
Silent Hill
know
4
it's
is
bad.
kind of bad. And then they
And
started
then
going
Silent
off the deep end with
Yeah,
those
because then
games.
there was Silent Hill Homecoming, and that came out in 2008. But then the 2012 movie is based on the third game.
Right.
So I don't know. It is just interesting to me, like the timeline of these movies and when they came out, and I don't know. It's just strange.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
Oh, developed. So the movie was developed at the same time. Oh, wait, what was developed at the same time as 3 Horror Historian? We'll find out. But yeah, so the timeline to me is just interesting.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm
So
just, I
yeah.
mean, I think that's like, I mean, it's different viewpoints, and that's fine. Like we want that. We don't want it to
Oh,
be
3 and 4.
uh, just to be like songbirds, repeating everything that each other says and stuff. So I think that us having different viewpoints about the timeline and maybe the popularity of the Japanese horror and all that stuff. I think that makes for an interesting, thought-provoking topic. I think it
Yeah,
does.
I mean that was just when I started the movie, that question popped into my mind. Like, why was the Silent Hill movie actually even made?
Hmm.
I mean, not that I'm complaining, because obviously I'm a Silent Hill fan.
Right.
Um, but I know that it wasn't really mainstream, super mainstream. But I
I
don't know. So that
will.
that just kind of was interesting.
I will, however, say um, this is. We'll get more into this later when we do the plot summary and everything. But I will, however, say that near the end of the movie, when the demonic Alessa or whatever thing that looks like the daughter, I don't know, whatever, is like crawling up the ladder, whatever, like right at the end of the movie. Um, she looks like a mix between the the girl from The Ring and the girl from The Grudge.
Oh yeah, yeah. There are a lot of like visual
So
similarities, for sure. And The Ring had come out 2 years prior, I think, 1 or 2 years, because I think The Ring was 2004. I think, if I'm remembering correctly.
I don't know.
So yeah, but definitely some visual
Yeah,
similarities.
definitely for sure.
Yeah.
The Ring was the
Um.
scariest movie you've ever seen. Hater blocker? Really? I do not give
So
it that crown.
did you have you seen it,
The Ring?
Ryan? Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen The Ring.
Oh, okay. It's funny because when I was talking about The Ring, because that came up when I was watching the movie, uh, I don't know, The Ring is just really good. It's just a really solid movie.
I agree. I agree. The Ring is a good movie. That was it.
Not to go off topic.
That,
No.
that was the whole thing. Like The Ring's a really good movie, and then you're back to the watching the movie.
No, well, I was gonna no, I because I was thinking about the Silent Hill movie and its relation to the Japanese horror craze,
Hmm.
and then I started thinking about The Ring and how it really was a solid movie, because it's not just gore, and like I liked the American version of The Ring better than the Japanese version, because I thought the
Really?
American version did a really good job of being really grungy and like dirty,
Hmm.
but also not like gory. it was more like psychological.
Oh
Like,
man, horror historian says he hated Ring. He hated the Ring.
really?
That's what he says.
Well, that's okay, horror historian.
It's not okay. You guys need to fight now. Go. Ready and fight. Okay, let's get into plot summary. Question mark?
Yeah. So, plot summary for Silent Hill. Do you want to start?
Yeah, sure.
Or should
Okay,
I?
so it starts off with this they're like searching for their daughter. I believe her name is Sharon, if I'm not mistaken. So they're looking for their daughter. She apparently sleepwalks, and she keeps like screaming about this Silent Hill. She needs to go home. She needs to go home. Blah blah blah. Silent Hill. So the mom uh decides to take her to Silent Hill. Big
Yeah,
mistake.
so and I want to point out that the movie wastes no time in actually getting them to Silent Hill
Mhm.
because basically in the first 5 minutes of the movie, they're already on their way to Silent Hill to solve this mystery of why her daughter is sleepwalking and yelling Silent Hill, and
Right.
then they just drive to Silent Hill.
Yeah, it's just jump right in. Like no,
Yeah.
there's no build up, nothing. Just go.
Yeah.
So they get to they're like on their way and they get pulled over by this police officer, and then they make it to Silent Hill, and she like can't find her daughter. Daughters went missing in like this like car crash, I guess.
Mhm.
Um, and so she's like looking for her daughter. She's just looking all around for her daughter. She thinks she sees her daughter everywhere, or not everywhere, but you know what I mean. She sees her, quote unquote, sees her often. And she like runs off to go save her, and things get like progressively more and more weird as you hear these like nuclear siren. I don't know if it's a nuclear siren or if it's a tornado siren. Either way, you hear this siren go
Yeah.
off and shit starts hitting the fan. um Weird creatures are like coming after her, and then the cop finds her again, and she's like, "Oh well, we're going back to town. I'm gonna take you back to town, and we're just gonna leave your daughter here because screw your daughter." And
Forget her. She
yeah,
doesn't matter.
whatever. And then more stuff starts to go crazy. The cop kind of sees herself, and hang on, damn it. Um, and like the whole time that this is going on, her husband, who's played by Sean Bean, which by the way, this is like one of the only movies that Sean Bean does not die in.
Scene Bean.
Yeah, that's it. Uh, he's like looking for his wife. He's looking for his daughter. He knows that they went to Silent Hill because she called him, and she was like, "Hey, taking her to Silent Hill. We're gonna figure out what this is all about." And he's like, "It's a bad idea, lady. Don't do it." And she's like, "Well, I'm doing it." And he's like, "All right, whatever." So he's like searching for her, and he's finding out all this other like old history about Silent Hill, and then he decides to go himself to Silent Hill, but he gets like stopped by this cop who's played by Kim Coates. That's his name, Kim Coates. He played Tig in Sons of Anarchy. If you didn't know, great show.
Did he?
Yeah. Anyways,
There is a pretty or a fairly well-known cast in this movie too. I just want to point out.
yeah, for sure, I agree. Anyways, sorry, the bird. I can see the bird on my screen, like flying back and forth, and I don't. That's whatever. Anyways, um, so he's looking for his daughter, or he's looking for his wife and daughter, and the cop is kind of like, maybe we don't go to Silent Hill, like maybe we just don't go there. And he's like, well, I have to go, find my daughter and my wife. The guy's like, maybe we don't do that. I'm not telling you what to do, but maybe we don't do it.
Let's not go.
Yeah,
Let's not do
let's like, I know you want to do that, and I'm not saying you shouldn't go, but you shouldn't go. Is basically what he's equating to. So it's like kind of like flat, not like flashing back and forth, but it's like hopping back and forth more between the
Yeah.
husband and the wife and cop, and
Yeah.
the wife and cop are like knee deep in the bowels of hell. They meet Pyramid Head at one point. Um, there's some creepy contortionist thing that's like flicking its tongue at her. Weird part, man. That freaked me out.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
they pretty much go through, so like if you imagine a Silent Hill game, uh the main character, the mom and the cop, pretty much go through like an entire Silent Hill story, right?
yeah,
It's like all of the usual locations. They go from a school to a hotel, like
yes,
to a church, and a hospital, of course. So it's like you like, even though the movie doesn't look exactly like some of the locations in Silent Hill, it's essentially like the same setup, right? It's
yeah,
it's the same, almost the same path you follow through any Silent Hill game.
yeah, pretty much. Excuse me. And then like, jeez, the dad's like starting to find out stuff about this um adoption, like Catholic adoption center or agency, whatever you want to call it. Um, where I guess they adopted. I guess it's where they adopted her from. Did I miss
Yeah,
that in the
so it
movie?
yeah. Yeah, so in the story, this church, basically, this baby was left on their doorstep, and she was from what is Silent Hill, right? And so yeah, the father and the mother adopted her from that church.
Right. Okay. So,
They
meanwhile,
show
while
a
he,
little bit of it.
yeah, a little bit. Um, so like he's finding out stuff about this adoption agency and things seem fishy there. We pop back over to the wife and the cop, and they're dealing with um, what I would say is like a cult. They call them fanatics or whatever in the movie. He calls them fanatics. I think the cop does. Uh, the detective guy helping out the husband, or whatever. But they're like a cult. Basically, they seem unassuming for the most part for a while. But you can kind of feel like something's off with them. At least, in my opinion, you can. Um,
Eh.
no, you would disagree?
No, no, I agree. I agree. It's just like, again, going back to like what separating the movie from what you know about Silent Hill. Because
Hmm.
like if you know anything about the history of Silent Hill, like you know right away that these people aren't good.
Well,
So like
yeah, but we have to separate the two,
I
or try
know, I
to.
know.
Anyways, so then they like these fanatics, cult, whatever, find like a picture of the daughter, I guess, and they're like, oh well, she's a witch, and you're a witch, and the cop's a witch, everybody's a witch, so we're gonna like kill you guys, basically. And the mom like goes off to meet the demon, quote unquote, the demon, um, and she like kind of like learns more of the backstory of where her daughter came from. And she's like, they say that she's like the only good part left of this illicit girl or whatever. Um, which to me is really weird, but whatever. Um, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, it's you so watching the movie, and I don't want to confuse anybody. I mean, because the movie itself is a little bit confusing, because basically what you get is this world where you don't know what's going on. There are all these monsters. What's really happening? I don't know. And then at the end of it, you kind of get like an exposition dump, right? Of like everything that's going on in the last like 20 minutes of the movie. So I don't know if we just want to give like a quick, like a, I don't know, synopsis of like what is actually going on in the movie.
Yeah, I mean, if you go ahead, I've been talking this entire time. You go ahead.
So essentially what is going on is there's this town of Silent Hill. There's a cult that lives there. They sacrifice people who they think are witches, and in their minds, this keeps uh, the demons of the world at bay. But what ends up happening is there is a girl who actually, I mean, I guess you could legitimately call her a witch. She is a little bit creepy. She kind of has like otherworldly powers. They go to sacrifice her, it goes wrong, and so that's where there's this little girl that comes into play, right?
Yeah.
So she's been tormented, she's in pain, she's angry at everyone. She was partially sacrificed, her skin is burned. So that's where kind of these demons come in. So you've got this girl who was almost sacrificed, she's still alive, she's got all of this anger pent up.
Mhm.
And that's sort of where the Silent Hill part of Silent Hill comes from, is that she essentially attracts demons, and that's what all these things are that are in Silent Hill.
Right.
So
She's
yeah.
essentially an angsty teenager that she's just like, I don't. She's just so mad at the world, and so she's taking it out on everybody.
Yeah.
Essentially. Um, and then like some
Thanks for the host, Disney lover.
some crazy stuff happens with the cult, and the demon like kind of kills a bunch of people or everyone basically. And then the mom and the daughter or whatever. I get, is it still her daughter like that? I don't know. Anyways, the mom and the daughter
Yeah.
make it out alive, quote unquote alive, and they're like, "Oh, we're coming back home," and then they come home, but they're like still in Silent Hill, sort of, kind of, and
Yeah, this the story with the sacrifice girl and the daughter, it's just like kind of unnecessarily complicated. And like I don't know. Yeah, I mean that's all I have to say about it.
yeah, I mean, I mean, I don't know if they were going for like an ending that makes you question it, like, oh well, like are they out or are they not, kind of like Inception, like is he still in a dream or isn't he, um because like
Yeah, it
they
was a very vague ending.
because they like make it out or whatever, and they go home but there's still all the fog around, right? And
Hmm.
then it like cuts to the husband, and he like wakes up and he's like, oh, um in the same spot, they're like at the same spot at the same time, and but they're like nowhere to be seen, like they can't see each other. So I don't know if it's supposed to be like a spirit realm kind of thing, like the mom and the daughter are stuck in this like realm, this alternate realm, and there's no way to get out once they get in. um but whatever.
Yeah, I think that the ending was somewhat vague. I mean, you can kind of like, yeah, well, I mean, Disney Lover is saying they were still on the other side or still in like sort of the Silent Hill realm essentially.
Right.
I think there are a lot of people who thought the ending was kind of vague. They didn't know what was going on. But I mean, with the Silent Hill games, there are multiple endings and some of them are just as vague.
Hmm.
So like I don't know if they were trying to give that, you know, give it that Silent Hill ending feel or what,
Well, the
but
issue I
yeah.
think is that I feel like they try to set it up to make a Silent Hill 2 movie, um
Yeah.
based on the second game, but they never did that. And that's why I think it's like more vague than it needs to be. Because if that was the case and they made a Silent Hill 2 movie, it would probably make more sense. But
Well, yeah.
since there is no Silent Hill 2 movie and they skip straight to Silent Hill 3, it just it's it kind of leaves you wondering if they are just stuck there and they can't get out, kind of thing.
Well, so Silent Hill 1 and Silent Hill 3 are linked. So they're, I'm pretty sure, or yeah, Silent Hill 1 and Silent Hill 3, because Heather from Silent Hill 3 um is the daughter of Alyssa, I think.
Okay.
Oh, no, she's a reincarnation of Alessa. So basically the reason they made the technically the second Silent Hill movie is based on the third game, but
Right.
it is a cohesive story. So Silent Hill 2 was kind of the outlier. It even though it took place in Silent Hill and there were some similarities, 1 and 3 are a cohesive story. So
Okay.
just, you know,
It's
throwing that
been
out
it's
there.
been way too long since I played those games.
Yeah.
Far,
So,
far too long. Um,
yeah.
I don't know though. I mean, I don't know. That's just like the vibe I got from it is that they were going to set it up for like a Silent Hill 2 esque movie. Because in the second game you play as like a guy looking for his wife, right? I think. Um,
In Silent Hill 2?
yeah, in Silent Hill 2 you're like looking for your wife, I think, right?
Yes.
Okay, so like I think that it seemed to set it up for that, but then they never made the second movie game, whatever. So it makes it more confusing to me. Does that make sense? Like I understand what you're saying that Silent Hill 1 and 3 are together. I get that.
Yeah.
And so that's fine, but with the ending of the first one, it doesn't flow into the beginning of Revelation. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yes, it
Okay.
does. What the I mean, they waited like 6 more years to make a sequel, so I don't know if they were even planning on making a sequel. And like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it just like I said in the beginning, everything with this movie's timeline is like kind of off.
Yeah.
So,
How mad was I
yeah.
that Silent Hills was canceled by Hideo Kojima?
Oh,
Hideo
I was
Kojima didn't
so
cancel shit.
mad.
Konami canceled it,
I
and we're not talking about it because Konami's a piece of shit company.
Oh, yeah, it was I was so excited. PT was like so good,
I agree.
and I'm still upset.
I am still upset as well. And the thing that sucks is that they had this like fan made um kind of like it wasn't it was supposed to be like a fan made spiritual successor to PT, right? Or like Silent Hills kind of thing. Um and it was called Abbey Road or no, Allison
Yeah,
Road.
and that still
Allison
hasn't
Road.
come out
It
yet.
got canceled. It got
Oh,
canceled
it
too.
got canceled?
Yeah, it got canceled like 3 years ago.
No. Really?
Yeah, I was really mad about that too.
Oh no, I didn't know that it got canceled. I was still waiting for it.
Yeah, it got canceled. It sucks
No, that's
because it looked
awful.
really good. It looked super good.
Yeah.
Although I mean,
Oh
really, if you
no.
want to play something more like PT, just play Visage and be prepared to get scared.
The Allison Road website still says that it's like in development, which is why I thought it was still happening.
I think that the website's just been left alone.
Oh,
Let's see, it
I'm
says
so
I don't know.
sad.
Wikipedia says it's an upcoming. Maybe somebody else picked it back up, but last I saw it was canceled. Oh, it's back in production. Yep,
Hey,
look at
there
that.
you go. Some good
Love
news.
that. That's some good news for everybody because that game looked wild.
Yeah, someone did remake PT, but I think it got taken down, or did it?
Uh,
I
it
think it
got
got taken off of Steam.
it got taken down, and then
Yeah.
from what I understand, Konami like contacted them and then hired them to like make it for real.
To like actually make PT?
Yeah,
Oh, without Okay. So they're
Yeah.
still moving forward with Silent Hill games.
Uh, Probably not.
Hmm. Interesting.
Probably not. All right, back on
Cool.
topic. Back to the movie and
Yes. Do
what
we
we're
want to
all here
talk
to
about
see.
what do we want to talk about what the movie did well?
Yeah, okay. So one of the things that I think they did really well is like the composer, whoever composed the soundtrack for it did really well, in my opinion.
That's because the soundtrack is ripped straight from the games.
Is it?
Yes.
No, there's no way.
Yes,
There's
it is
no
the
way.
exact movie from the games.
There's no
Most of
way.
it is,
There's no
yeah.
way. I gotta
Yes,
find out for myself.
100%. Yep,
Hang on.
I have the Silent Hill soundtracks.
No. Why do you have the Silent Hill
Yes.
soundtracks? That seems weird. Soundtrack right here. The score consists almost entirely of music from Yamaoka's soundtracks to the original four games in the series. The only other piece of music used in the film is Johnny Cash's Ring of Fire.
Yeah, I told you. That's
Huh.
why it's good. It's because the original Silent Hill music, game music, is really, really
I
good.
didn't know that. I didn't know it was ripped straight from the game. Well, that makes
Yeah,
sense then.
yeah, yeah, yep.
That
So
makes
I don't
sense.
know if we could call that.
All right.
I
Well, we
guess they were
can't, I
smart
guess.
from reusing music because it's really good.
Yeah, that's.
Um, I guess
That's
that's a plus. I guess that's something they did well.
the only thing they took straight from the game, like straight from the game, they
Was the
did well,
soundtrack.
was the soundtrack, and they did it well.
Great. So
Um,
I have a couple of things.
okay,
I
go.
will go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, I have a couple of things. So I thought that the showing the transition between the real world and Silent Hill was done really, really well. And I remember thinking that when I first saw the movie, because in the games, you don't really see the transition. You like fall asleep or you pass out, and when you wake up, you're in Silent Hill. And so I think the movie did that really, really well. It's a cool effect
Mhm.
to be able to see the transition from real world to Silent Hill in real time. I thought that was really cool.
I agree. Do you have anything else?
Yes, I
Okay.
really liked the final like the ending battle, I guess, or ending fight. It's not really fight. I mean, people are just getting like killed.
Yeah.
But I thought that the final, I guess I should say the final monster, uh it it was really cool and really well done. It's just a barbed wire monster, and it looks ridiculous, and I think it like ridiculously cool. I liked it a lot.
I agree, especially when it rips that lady in half
I
because
mean, yeah,
uh,
the actual blood and gore part of it is kind of whatever to me, but the actual monster design and kind of like seeing it, this barbed wire thing like crawl out from the bowels of hell, was like pretty cool.
yeah, I agree. I just meant I think that's a cool death. Like, I think that's a cool death scene. Is all. Not necessarily that it looks
Yeah.
good, but I just think that that's like I think it's really like
Thank you.
unnerving
Thank you for the follow.
to watch the barbed wire go up into her lady business.
Oh, I didn't like that. That's what I didn't like.
You didn't like that.
No, that's what
Why?
I said. The actual like massacre part of this scene
I
where people are
love
like
that.
getting torn open
Love
by
that.
like barbed wire, it's whatever.
So
I
so
don't really
then
care, and there's some parts I didn't like.
as horror historians says, what do you think of the defleshing scene?
Yeah, I don't
Get
know.
the hell out of
It's kind of
here. Get out of here. That's great. It's so
I
like
mean,
abrupt. He just grabs her and then off with her clothes, off with her skin. Boom.
I
See you
guess
later. Bye.
my I guess my issue with it is when I think about the Silent Hill games, it's somewhat of a departure from the way that they operate, because in the games it's more, you have these like grotesque looking monsters and they're obviously disturbing and gross, right?
Mm,
But they're just kind of there. They're like there and they're creepy and they're threatening, but you don't really, and I'm trying to think back. It's been a while since I played all the games. but I don't think you don't really get that like uh, I don't know, level of like gore and massacre with like in the actual games. So I just think it's somewhat of a departure.
That's fair, but it still looks cool.
It does. I will admit that's one of the effects that held up in the movie because some of the like rendered monsters aren't don't look that great. Like the little like ember children and stuff
Hmm.
were kind of looked a little bit dated, but the effect where her flesh is getting ripped off, I think held up pretty well.
I also really enjoy the cop getting burned. I think that's a really cool scene. Um,
Yeah.
just because you like slowly see her skin char.
Mhm.
Hang on. Yeah. See you, buddy.
Ooh.
See you, buddy.
Yeah. Anyway, so you like that part where the cops getting burned?
Yeah, I like that. I think that I think it's a cool effect because you see kind of like all the stages, and they did it right with because like uh I mean I don't know personally, but apparently whenever you actually get like burned hot enough, it turns white, right? Like your skin turns white, and that you kind of see that in in the movie a little bit, not much, but you do see it a little bit.
So it was an accurate depiction of someone getting burned alive.
Apparently, I mean I've never like inspected a burn
Thank
victim.
you, Disney Lover,
I
for the
really don't
bits.
want
I
to,
appreciate that.
but
Yeah, I don't so like that's another scene that I just didn't really like. The burning the cop alive and then like the woman getting barbed wire shoved up inside of her like there is just something about that that like that's not really my thing. I don't know. It's not I don't know, it just doesn't do anything for me.
I
I
understand.
just and I just kind of don't really like it.
I
But
understand.
I think like Disney Lover pointed out the horror in the actual games, I mean it was a little more subtle and then there were definitely things in the movie that were more like and I understand that it's for I guess it's supposed to be for a wider audience. It's supposed to be like a horror movie and kind of throwing in that gore aspect is probably somewhat of a draw to people, I
Hmm.
guess. But you know,
Hmm. Hmm.
I don't know. I'm
Interesting.
just
Interesting.
because like I thought things the parts of the movie that I personally liked better were things like when they're being stalked by Pyramid Head, and then there's all these bugs, and it's like gross and threatening, but like no one's getting ripped apart or it's just sort of like this confusion and panic because they're seeing this scene that's so like it's just so weird. It's strange and grotesque, and it's following them. And I don't know. I just like that kind of stuff better.
That's fair. That's
I
fair.
think that's closer to the game.
Not everybody's as fucked up as I am, you know? That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this, all right?
Okay.
How do you feel the movie did about putting the characters in Silent Hill? Do you think they did a good job of recreating Silent Hill from the game? With the
Yeah. Yeah.
fog,
I think. Yeah.
all that stuff.
Yeah, I think the depiction of Silent Hill, so both the transition from real world to Silent Hill and the actual depiction of Silent Hill was really well done. I mean, I thought the atmosphere of the movie was fine. It was good. Like no complaints there at all.
Okay, good.
My personal opinion.
Right, no, I agree.
Yeah.
I think that the the first time that the mom, I can't think of her name. It doesn't matter. The mom like gets this like she wakes up from the car crash or whatever. She sees that her daughter's gone, and she gets out and she starts walking through the fog, and you kind
Mhm.
of see like the little girl like running off ahead of her and stuff. And that's straight from the game. Like that happens in the game. And I think
Yeah.
that it does a really good thought it did a really good job of like doing okay, for me, the things that I like to see most are the things that are like they're not the main focus of the camera. So they're in the background, they're briefly on screen, but not like a
Mhm.
focus. And I think the movie does a really good job of having things in the background or um, running through the fog, um,
Gross.
just like little things like that. That like it's like what it like you can barely make out what it is. Um, I
Mhm.
to me that's like the horror that I like is the kind of like mental,
Yeah.
subtle, like is it there or is it not kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and like Pizzy pointed out, that's it's more about fear and anticipation and like less of the gore part of it. But I think that's my favorite part of horror is that fear and anticipation or that threat, you know. And in the instance of this movie, those little things like those out of focus or just off to the side of the screen, like those are the things that scare you.
Right.
So yeah, I think they did that well.
Good. All right. Then we agree. Then it's ubiquitous.
We we agree. Yes.
Um,
Well, do you think we have enough to make a final review?
I think we do. Yeah, do it.
Okay.
Rock and roll. Um, I'm going to give it. What did I give it to begin with? A six.
6.
Six. I'm gonna drop it down to 5.5.
I'm gonna say that my review didn't change much. I'm gonna give it a 5.
All right, 5 and
Because
5.5.
because I think that discussing the good parts about it, there were a lot of good parts about the movie, but as a whole, it just like even though the atmosphere was great, the monsters were good, there were some cool parts. Just overall, the story wasn't great. It wasn't paced especially well, and the acting was some of the acting was fine and some of it was not fine. The little girl was terrible.
Yeah.
And so
Although,
like there's just some stuff that kind of ruined it for me.
yeah, I agree. Especially when she's like the demonic version of herself or whatever. Like,
Yeah, because she's the one giving you the entire story, like the entire exposition dump,
not
and
only
and
that,
it's just not done well.
not only that, but they like change her voice or something because it doesn't sound like her when she normally talks. It has this like weird, I don't know, mix
Maybe it's
to
a
it.
different actress. Maybe it's not the same kid.
Maybe I don't know, but it was weird. I didn't like it. I didn't like it.
Yeah,
I don't
it
like it.
wasn't great.
I don't like it. But
So I'm gonna
overall,
keep mine. Yeah,
overall, not that bad of a movie. I think it's not as bad as people make it out to be. I'm just saying.
not terrible. And I think definitely if you're a fan of the game, I think that you're gonna get a lot more from the movie. And so I could appreciate the parts of the movie that were most like the game. So, like I said, the atmosphere, sort of the path that they travel through the story, visiting places like the hotel and the hospital. I mean, those are like classic Silent Hill locations,
Right.
right? And so you can seeing Pyramid Head on the big screen, like that was really cool. And so like there are things you can definitely appreciate if you're a fan of the game. I think that might make the movie a little bit more enjoyable for you. I think that if you're coming in with no knowledge of Silent Hill, it's kind of a mediocre horror movie.
Yeah.
So, I
Yeah.
don't
I
know.
agree with that wholeheartedly. I think that.
Horror historian. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say horror historians asking us when we're gonna review the sequel.
I would be okay with that. I think I've only watched that movie like
Maybe.
once in my entire life.
Yeah, I've only seen it once. Maybe sometime in the future.
Yeah, sometime in the future. Sometime in the future. We'll come back to it.
Yeah.
We'll come back.
So sorry, what were you saying before I
Um,
interrupted?
I don't know what I was gonna say. I don't know.
Oh.
Oh well.
Well, Well, I'm gonna stay with my score of 5. I thought it was a mediocre and to somewhat enjoyable movie
Yeah,
based on my knowledge of Silent Hill.
yeah. I think. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say like I think that you'll find more enjoyment out of it if you know the games at all. If
Yes.
you don't, you. But on the same note, I mean, if you know a lot about the games, you might end up really hating it because it's not the game. And I think that's a lot of the issues that people have with video game movies to begin with. Um, because Doom is like unanimously shit on. And I think that Doom actually isn't that bad. Um, I think that I think the first person scene in Doom is awesome. I think it's great. Um, but you know, that's because I can like take it out of the context of the game, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, I think when I watch Silent Hill, I know that it's not going to be a good, or I should say, it's not going to be a great horror movie. But like I said, I can appreciate, I think that they did do things well and they did have some parts of the movie where they did the game justice, I guess. And
Yeah,
so I can appreciate that. I don't, other people may not want to or be able to appreciate that. But I think going in, I knew it wasn't going to be a great movie, but I could appreciate the parts that were close to the game.
yes. Um,
Yeah.
but other than that, I don't have anything else about this movie.
Okay.
Do
I think that's it for me. Is there anyone saying anything in
does
chat about them?
anyone have a recommendation for next time? Um, because we don't have one currently. I don't think. Do we? Did we? No, I don't think we
No,
do. Um,
we do not have a movie. So, yes, if any of you have recommendations or ideas, Pizzy
Mirrors.
suggests
Mirrors.
mirrors.
Have I seen that movie? Is it the Mirrors? Okay, not that movie.
I'm looking it up.
Mirrors. Oh, I've
2008
seen this. It's got
villain
Kiefer Sutherland.
movie.
Yeah,
I haven't ever seen this.
the second one has Christy Carlson Romano in it of Even Stevens fame. And
Really?
yeah, and she gets naked like 3 minutes into the movie, and it's a far cry from Disney. Far cry from Disney.
Well, yeah, sounds like it.
Yeah, I remember this movie not being that bad.
I have not
I
seen
haven't
it.
seen it since 2008 when it came out, but I'd be up for that. Yeah.
Here's some other movie recommendations. We
Solo
have what is Solo and I don't know about can't even.
is Solo. You mean like the Han Solo movie, the Star Wars movie?
Oh, Solo. I have seen that. I saw that in the theater.
Because I kind of refuse to watch that, but if people really want me to
It
watch it, I
wasn't
will.
it wasn't bad, to be honest. I got to go for freezies, so
You know, all right, I'll
I
give
don't
it
know.
a shot.
I mean I'm not a huge Star Wars fan, so maybe but I enjoyed it. I thought it was decent, but
I
it people may have other opinions if they're fans.
I do need to watch it though because people also say that what's the second one? The second one that just came out called
The pack.
Force Awakens. What was the next one?
Lord of
Oh my gosh, that's gonna piss me off. Star Wars movies.
Don't ask me Star Wars questions. 'Cause
I'm not. The
All right,
Last Jedi. The Last Jedi.
Okay.
Um, I actually really like The Last Jedi, and that movie is pretty much unanimously hated. So I'll have to give Solo a shot. Okay, so what's this Mario Van Peebles? I don't even know who Mario Van Peebles
Yes.
is.
Mario, the one Mario Van Peebles.
Yeah.
What?
That's what Drunken Gamer said. He said not the Han Solo movie, but
Oh,
It's a movie
Mario
called
Van
Solo.
Peebles. He's got a giant gun.
In
It
Solo
it gets a 2-star rating. Drunken Gamer, what are you trying to get us to watch?
from
It gets 2 out of 5
1996.
stars.
Part man,
All
part
right,
machine,
I'll see.
total weapon. This is the movie we. It holds a 6% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. This is the movie we need to watch.
Okay, actually, okay, let's watch it. If it's that bad, we should watch it.
Yeah, yeah. The Pact.
All right.
Oh, look at this. We got so many
I
recommendations.
know,
We
so
can
many
set
good
this up.
suggestions. Thank you guys.
We really
I'm
appreciate
doing
it. The
good, Melody.
Pact.
How are you?
I
We're
heard the
kind of
Pact.
wrapping up our discussion about Silent Hill, but we're asking other people for movie recommendations. So I think we may have decided to go with Solo because of its really low score. But it's one of Drunken Gamer's favorite childhood movies.
Yeah,
So
we gotta talk about this one. Yeah, for sure. And
and then
then
so
we
the
can do the
pact
Pact
is
next.
fourth.
After that,
I
okay.
remember I've never seen it, but I remember seeing things about it.
I think I've seen the cover art for it, but I don't think I've ever actually
Yeah.
watched the movie.
Yeah. So we've got we've got the pact, we've got um
Solo,
Solo, and then was I think Pizzy recommended, okay, no, Pizzy recommended the pact.
Mirrors.
Um
Somebody else also
Oh
recommended
yeah,
Mirrors.
mirrors.
Busy did. Yeah,
Mirrors. Yeah. I'm writing some of these down. And
yeah,
then
definitely.
Horror Historian was talking about Lord of Tears. Was that the one with the owl? The owl man?
Yeah, yeah, that one.
Yeah,
I don't want to
because
watch
I
that.
want to watch that. So Horror Historian, if you have that or can get it to us or tell us where it is,
Oh my
we will
god.
watch. I would watch that.
I'll watch
So
it. It looks terrifying, but I'll watch it.
we should totes watch The Pact. It gets good reviews. It looks like a decent movie, so we'll have to add that to our list.
Boom, right there. Lord of Tears. Got it. Easy.
Oh, you found it?
I found it. Not
Okay.
the most savory of ways, but it works. It
Oh,
works.
Horror Historian has a physical and a digital copy, so we can
Well,
borrow it.
I can also just do my
We can
thing.
also acquire it
Yeah, I can acquire it.
through.
I can.
Yes. Well, thank you guys so much for all the movie recommendations. That's awesome.
That is really
Um,
cool.
yeah, and we'll be streaming again in 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Yes.
Wait, 2 weeks from now. Maybe 2 weeks from now. I'm going on vacation at some point.
Okay.
At the end of this month. So we might need to talk about it, but
Okay.
generally every 2 weeks it may be postponed. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
But
Or moved up. Sometimes it
um
gets moved up.
yes, and we are definitely for sure having a horror movie night at TwitchCon because
Oh,
I
I'm
think that
down.
would be
Let's
awesome.
do it. Let's do it.
It's gonna be
Speaking of
so
which,
much fun.
have you guys have any of you aside from me watched the newest Halloween movie, the one that came out like last year?
No.
You should.
Okay.
It's so freaking good. It is so good.
I have not seen it.
It is so good. And to think Danny McBride from like Pineapple Express and uh The Last of Us, or not The Last of Us, what is that? This Is the End. Um
Mhm.
he's a comedian and he directed it and it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
It is so
Yeah,
much better than the
Melody
Rob Zombie movies.
in chat, Melody says that she's seen it. So
It's so
I
good.
have not.
I recommend it. It's really good. 2 thumbs up.
Cool. All right. Well, again, thank you guys so much for the movie recommendation.
Yep,
If
yep,
you
yep,
have
yep,
any
yep, yep, yep.
more or think of any more, you can post them in our Discords or via any social media.
Yep.
And I guess we'll be back at it in a couple weeks.
Yeah, a couple weeks. Are we
Thank you
playing
guys so
Blackout
much
Club
for hanging
Friday?
out. Do what? Yes,
Okay.
Blackout Club on Friday.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
more Blackout Club.
Cool.
Yeah, cool.
All
Well,
right.
I hope that you guys have a great night, everyone in chat,
I do
and
as
thank
well.
you so much for joining us on this Silent Hill chat. And
Thank you
I
for
guess that's
stopping
it.
by,
That's all I
everybody. I
got.
appreciate it.
All right. Well, have a good night, Tin Man, and
See
I
ya.
will talk to you later.
Yep.
Bye.
All right, people. 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 We're going to